Hello, Laura J. here, just trust in God. And I want to say to you that I've got a message I would like to share. I would like to say that it took me 10 years to prepare to be here for you. Today I joined the John Maxwell team on the 23rd of March back in 2011, and it changed my life. And I see the lighting is not good, and so I step forward and say what should be better is this, being up close and personal. Because I want you to know that you matter. I want you to know that I've created an acronym to make it easier to make the most of that statement and to make it the ultimate compliment. So when you say you matter, you mean it. I want you to know that you matter. I want you to know that you have been considered every step of the way. I've actually created an acronym that is so easily done, and yet it's all about how memorable it is because of how true it is. And the first piece of this that is unique and that no one else is talking about because I coined it is the self that you are. And that is actually the CELL hyphen capital F for whether you choose to fill the cells of your body with fear or faith. Fear allows you to be programmed. Faith allows you to create the program, for you to dream the dream that is bigger than you. And that is then when we set the time to say that the O is about an open mind. It is about being willing to consider an idea you hadn't considered before because you weren't aware of it. Now you are, and now you say, that's interesting. A great response when something is new. That's interesting. It's so ambiguous. And yet, if you don't actually go there, if you don't actually speak your mind, what's the point? I don't get it. I don't know why small talk is even a thing. I don't get why waste words. They're so precious. They're sacred. Which is why we have to uncord ourselves from the past moments. That is how we bring ourselves back solidly into the present moment where you truly matter. So to matter means to manage your emotions, to understand how to maneuver the human high rise of emotion is what I'm calling it now. And that came about because I have realized we need to add an extra E into humanity so that we can actually be the ones that intentionally fill ourselves with what is good, what is common. There is more common between us than there is different, and yet we are faulted for things outside of our control simply because we allow ourselves to take those things personally, those judgments. Well, now it is time to say, darling, announcements is the A of matter. Announcements say you must proclaim who you choose to be. Who are you going to show up in the next moment as? You alone are the one who must decide if you are going to become the clone of your own self. The moment of the future requires who you are now and yet must change, and the caterpillar knows this. Even though it may fear its own demise right before the caterpillar takes shape. It is the same consciousness transforming, even though it fears its own transformation, and that's what we must realize. Enlightenment is the ego's greatest disappointment. I have it posted above my mirror from one of the Wayne Dyer daily calendar things my mom puts together. Or not, she doesn't put them together. My mom gets them for... my mom gets it and then gives one to me. I don't know. My mom's always given me moral support, even though I bucked and kicked and resisted her every step of the way and just held out loving her because I was at war within myself and she was my mother that I projected so much onto unnecessarily, and you may realize the same, which is why trials strengthen you is the T of matter. And that's where we learn from what we went through. We grow through what we go through. We must. We can't help it. We're adaptable beings, which is why we must understand that what we permit, what we tolerate, the next generation embrace. They've already got nursery rhymes, how to best assimilate your child into the new norm to make it as normal and easy for them as possible. Well, it is not natural. And the further we get away from natural, then the closer we get to something other than what we are inherently familiar with as human beings, all of who may have different shades on the outside depending on the season or the place that we come from, but ultimately we're all in this together. Like, this is the mothership, we're all riding her, and anything with a ship on it is corporate. So understand that we are living in a really fictitious world. And they tell us about it because black magic requires they tell us what they're doing in order to make it justifiable that they do what they do to us and say we warned them. We just did it with a smile. We just made it really exciting. Did you know that scarcity selling is actually a sales technique to make sure that people act? And you use the AIDA principle, which is attention, interest, desire, and action, because you need to have a call to action on everything that you do, which is why I've struggled, because I haven't applied what I already knew. I just didn't. No excuses. Whatever comes after but generally cancels out what came before it and shares the truth. Remember that. That's been slightly off-ramp, except tone up is actually the second T in matter. And to tone up means to grow through what you go through and to start to see things for what they really are instead of what we hope they could be. Because that's when we disillusion ourselves and set ourselves up for failure and doom the relationship in the process too. Then we must expand our standards or horizons. We must expand both. We must realize that it is through personal growth, development, courses, trainings, travel, that we meet teachers who are able to stretch our awareness, that are able to take us to lands that we can only envision, and yet through their story we see ourselves in the tale and suddenly feel like we have been there. We have seen those things. We have felt those things, and yet it is only our imagination. It is only our imagination that has been stimulated. We must actually respect ourselves, others, and why we're here enough to be willing to get out of our comfort zone to do what is required. We must go where we feel called. We must, and therefore we will, because it is required. And so, still, here we are now just saying, no, we will no longer comply. We will stand for ourselves because we know that you matter, which means that when there is one finger pointing at you, there are three pointing back at me, and the same is true when you do the same. So you tell somebody you matter. You matter, my friend. You matter. You matter. You matter. You matter. You matter more than anything to your world and the other characters in the true man or woman show. That's how they told us what was at play when they put us into this world. And then they tease and show that we are the true men of our lives. Jim Carrey starred in there, which means he was woke years ago. But he traded some of his integrity or soul because he acted without saying, and then eventually he got fed up and decided he would no longer play ball, and so he spoke up and said, the sign of the all-seeing eye. No, that's this one. That one is the tongue that is sworn to protect and not say any of the secrets, and yet we've interpreted another way to make it socially acceptable and to make it culturally imprinted. They gave us another story, and yet the symbol was still there, and so we repeated it thinking it was one thing, and yet it was actually another. How crazy is that? And I know maybe you have become frightened because of the vulgarity of that, and if so, it is your choice to be offended, so that is why I say Jim Carrey and also say Justin Bieber. You are someone that I know I am meant to connect with, because we can help each other in great ways on this battleship that is Mother Earth. We can use your platform for good to spread the word of love, hope, peace, and joy in the hearts of all who could. Cut the bonds with all that's tied their soul into a trap. Let them out and realize the crab in the bucket society mentality is ripe. But not when we shift it, because we train the ones coming up to say you matter. You can do so much more than we gave you permission to. It's time for you to grow up early and to rise and connect to your soul. It is true, my Lord. L-A-W''D. Did you know that Lord is actually Lord before they made it seem like it, so they didn't have to answer, what's that? Well, a Lord is one who understands the universal laws. Become an alchemist, it is true, and you can learn from the best. Saint Germain is the one who wrote Saint Germain on alchemy, formulas for self-transformation. It is true that we are brothers and sisters of the Golden Robe, an order of ascended and unascended beings, dedicated to the illumination of mankind through the flame of wisdom, headed by the ascended Master Katumi, with retreats in the etheric plane in Shagasti and Kashmir. I've reached my limit as I flip to see Great White Brotherhood and want to read that to you, because I believe you are one of them, Jim Carrey, Justin Bieber, and all who resonate with this message truly. I say those names because truly each of you stand out as characters I would like to meet. You are great players in this game. I respect you. I bow, and then I wonder what it cost, and I hope it did not cost your soul, and then I say, if it did, there is a chance to recall that if you are willing to align yourself with what is great. And here is the description of the Great White Brotherhood from Saint Germain. It is a spiritual order of Western saints and Eastern adepts who have reunited with the Spirit of the living God and who comprise the heavenly hosts. They have transcended the cycles of karma and rebirth and accelerated, into that higher reality which is the eternal abode of the soul. The ascended masters of the Great White Brotherhood, united for the highest purposes of the brotherhood of man under the fatherhood of God, have risen in every age from every culture and religion to inspire creative achievement in education, the arts and sciences, God government, and the abundant life through the economies of the nations. The word white refers not to race, but to the aura, halo, of white light surrounding their forms. The brotherhood also includes in its ranks certain unascended chelas of the ascended masters. Chelas, another word for students. Jesus Christ revealed this heavenly order of saints robed in white to his servant John in Revelation. You can also see cosmic hierarchy to learn more, and there is another section on cosmic hierarchy here too. The universal chain of individualized God-free beings fulfilling the attributes and aspects of God's infinite selfhood. Included in the cosmic hierarchical scheme are solar logo, Elohim, sons and daughters of God, ascended and unascended masters with their circles of chelas, cosmic beings, the 12 solar hierarchies, archangels and angels of the sacred fire, children of the light and nature spirits called elementals, and twin flames of the Alpha Omega polarity sponsoring planetary and galactic systems. This universal order of the Father's own self-expression is the means whereby God in the great central sun steps down the presence and power of his universal being consciousness in order that succeeding evolutions in time and space from the least unto the greatest might come to know the wonder of his love. The level of one's spiritual physical attainment, measured by one's balanced self-awareness, hid with Christ in God, and demonstrating his law by his love in the spirit-matter cosmos, is the criterion establishing one's placement on this ladder of life called hierarchy. In the 3rd century, Origen of Alexandria set forth his conception of a hierarchy of beings, ranging from angels to human beings to demons and beasts. This renowned scholar and theologian of the early church, who set forth the chief cornerstone of Christ's doctrine and upon whose works subsequent church fathers, doctors, and theologians built their traditions, taught that souls are assigned to their respective offices and duties based on previous actions and merits, and that each one has the opportunity to ascend or descend in rank. Many beings of the heavenly hierarchy are named in the book of Revelation, apart from the false hierarchy of Antichrist, including the reprobate angels. Some of the members of the Great White Brotherhood accounted for by Jesus are Alpha and Omega, the 7 spirits, the angels of the 7 churches, the 24 elders, the 4 beasts, the saints robed in white, the 2 witnesses, the God of the earth, the woman clothed with the sun and her man-child, Archangel Michael and his angels, the Lamb and his wife, the 144,000 who have Father's name written on their foreheads. What? The 144,000 who have the Father's name written in their foreheads, the angel of the everlasting gospel, the 7 angels, example, the archangels of the 7 rays, which stood before God, the angel clothed with the cloud and a rainbow upon his head, the 7 thunders, the wonderful and true, and his armies, and him that sat upon the great white throne, also see Elohim. There are citations from Revelations 1 to 22 in abundance right there. So I won't read those out simply because you can read the book for yourself if you're interested in more. The Elohim are
an interesting lot. So we'll go there. Plural of Hebrew's Eloah, which is God. One of the Hebrew names of God, or of the gods, used in the Old Testament about 2,500 times, meaning mighty one, or strong one. Elohim is a uniplural noun referring to the twin flames of the Godhead that comprise the divine us. When speaking specifically of either the masculine or feminine half, the plural form is retained because of the understanding that one half of the divine whole contains and is the androgynous self, the divine us. The seven mighty Elohim and their feminine counterparts are the builders of form. Hence, Elohim is the name of God used in the first verse of the Bible. In the beginning, God created the heaven and the earth. Serving directly under the Elohim are the four beings of the elements, the four cosmic forces, who have dominion over the elementals, gnomes, salamanders, sylphs, and undines. The seven mighty Elohim are the seven spirits of God, named in Revelation, and the morning stars, that sang together in the beginning, as the Lord revealed them to his servant Job. There are also 5 Elohim who surround the white fire core of the great central sun. In the order of hierarchy, the Elohim and cosmic beings carry the greatest concentration, the highest vibration of light that we can comprehend in our state of evolution. They represent, with the 4 beings of nature, their consorts, and the elemental builders of form, the power of our Father as the Creator, the Blue Ray. The 7 archangels and their divine complements, the great seraphim, cherubim, and all the angelic hosts represent the love of God in the fiery intensity of the Holy Ghost, the pink ray. The 7 shohans of the rays and all ascended masters, together with unascended sons and daughters of God, represent the wisdom of the law of the Logos under the office of the sun, the yellow ray. These 3 kingdoms form a triad of manifestation, working in balance to step down the energies of the Trinity. The intonation of the sacred sound Elohim releases the tremendous power of their God self-awareness stepped down for our blessed use through the cosmic Christ. Following are the names of the 7 Elohim, the rays they serve on, and the locations of their etheric retreats. First ray, Hercules in Amazonia. Half Dome, Sierra Nevada, Yosemite National Park, California, USA. Second ray, Apollo and Lumina, Western Lower Saxony, Germany. Third ray, Heros and Amora, Lake Winnipeg, Canada. Fourth ray, wow, it's in Winnipeg, Canada, is the third ray. Awesome. Fourth ray, Purity and Destrea, near Gulf of Archangel, southeast arm of White Sea, Russia. Fifth ray, Cyclopea and Virginia, at Altai range where China, Siberia, and Mongolia meet, near Taban Bogdo. Sixth ray, Peace and Aloha, Hawaiian Islands. Seventh ray, Arcturus and Victoria, near Luanda, Angola, Africa. That cites Revelations 1:4, 3:1, 4:5, 5:6, and Job 38:7. And it doesn't send me anywhere else, which is exciting, except for this page actually references the emotional body and evil, which is so significant to understand is an energy veil, the veil of misqualified energy that man imposes upon matter through his misuse of the sacred fire, Maya, illusion. The consciousness of relative good and evil embodied by life streams moving against the current of God's will is the consequence of the free will experiment adopted by souls who chose to descend in plane and consciousness below the level and frequency of the Christ mind. Absolute evil, embodied by fallen angels, is the state of those who declared war against Almighty God, His Christ, and His offspring in the Great Rebellion, who have not ceased their warfare against the seed of the Divine Mother, will not bend the knee before the light, and will be defeated in Armageddon by the Lord's judgment through His hosts. The forces of absolute good, God identified in heaven and earth, As a consequence of the victory of light over darkness, souls who have lost the Edonic bliss may be saved from all evil and the evil one by conscious free will election in Christ to return to his reign under the law of God. It is time for us to understand the war we are truly in. It is a battle within our own selves as to whether we will be fearful or faithful. And then that is when we remember that we must just be out here trusting God. And when we realize that the ship is tipping, we have to have trusted ourselves to have done what was required to practice in advance to be able to just roll. Ow! Oh, that hurt. Oh, we're going to leave that part out because that really hurt, and it was careless and reckless and totally unexpected. Oh, check your environment, guys. Oh, that's so funny. Not funny. But people like to see people get hurt, so ow. Oh, that did hurt me. But I survive. Oh, Lord. That really hurt. You know what it's like? I picked up a note that I had written from a session I had paid for with an energy healer I respect, Susan Mann. And it's about convictions of truth, and then the pressure I put on myself. Just be Laura, regardless of what a leader should be like. Because sometimes I put a lot of pressure on myself to be more than just a farm girl living with my grandpa, writing a book and running a movement for Peaceful Inner Warriors United to help us have a understanding of how to return home to ourselves, the threefold flame, the I am that I am, presence, connection within our own heart center that we have got so disconnected from, especially when we get so in our head, which is why mental health is the obsession, because it keeps us away from what is truly the way to heal, which is sound and frequency. And it's been used against us for far too long, but now we're switched onto it, so the light's on, and like we're demanding better, which means we need to do better too. Which is the reason I'm going to actually share the original taping. Divine timing is associated with everything. Not going to push through right now. Not gonna push through, but maybe you can slide through if you just turn around and stop trying to direct the flow. Then others may want you to be in their view more than if they felt that you were gonna try to change them your way. That's not how we make it work, I gotta say. From all of the times I have tried and lost people for it, so don't try to change anyone, just accept them as they are. And if they can't accept you as you are, that's on them. At least you can know that you tried your very hardest. It is true, I love you. I'm just gonna be out here recording this song. I'm just out here gonna be recording my song for the one that we are submitting for the Mystic Music Summit with Mad-Hatter's Music Album 22 project that we started in January, and now we'll be putting together 22 songs, and we will promote it because it's intended to uplift and inspire and connect people through song. Vibration, that's what we need to keep in mind, and so here we go. Okay, so it's like two different things.
You are love. Neheshkatakahasidya. Nakahashidya. You are well. You are peace. Nakaheshkatakahasidya. Nakahashidya. Move to the calling of your DNA. Nakahisakatakaha. You are a beautiful love being, energetic one. Feel your cells filling with light. Nakahashikatihisakataka. Nihishatake ishadiya. Nakahisataka. Nakahosatahe. Nakahashite ishadikihit. Kaha. Put your hands on your heart. Nakahasate ishatakaha. Move back into the memory of who you really are. A loving, compassionate being of light. Nakahisakatakahashadeiya. Feel your heart expanding. Nakahatihishatakaha. All is well. All has always been well. We are moving into the times of the light. Nihishatakahasatiya. Nokohohohotihitikihishitakaha. You are well. You are loved. You are supported. Nikihisakatakaha nihishatiya. Fill yourself with this light. Feel this light. Expand with this light. Feel it going into every cell and pass it, send it, beam it to everyone around you, everyone that needs it. Send it to the world. Nikihishate ishikata. Nihisakaha nihishatiya. You are love. You are light. You are eternal. Nihisakataka nahashati'i nakahasipatehishatikihi. Step into this role now and understand, dear one, that the light has won. You are free and all is well.
Well, that was fun. Let's see how that was. Thank you for tuning in today. Thank you for enjoying. Thank you for commenting. And thank you for sharing this message with somebody who would benefit. And if you are connected with Jim Carrey or Justin Bieber, I am looking to connect with both of you. So please very much look forward to doing so, and it will be kept in full confidence. So I'm not about oh my God, and talking about having had a private conversation. So I have censorship and the ability to keep things in confidence. So I look forward to having those interactions, exchanges, and Russell Brand comes to mind as well, to be honest. I am just really keen to connect with people that have went to a higher level or few, and that are sharing from that perspective and still putting the cookies on the lowest shelf, like what John Maxwell always said. So I look forward to and hope that that's what this has been for you, and appreciate you for your time, energy, effort, attention, and wish you a wonderful day. If I left out the M, which is money, because I have some blocks, evidently, but I have all that I need, and I'm grateful, and life is wonderful and provided for, and there are ebbs and flows, and it may not always be that way, but why not? Why not envision that for our future and then create that together? Because if we don't put our energy into what we can create and build together, then we're going to have some huge problems. And no position, no amount of celebrity status or anything is going to save us from being just one of the other players in the game, because that's the truth about what we all are. So it's time to just connect and realize that whether you are at the top of your game or feel like you're at the bottom of the barrel, you can be anything that you choose to be the moment that you decide to be. So I hope that that is what you will choose to do with what you were given, because there's only one of you. There will never be another you. You're it. So you have a responsibility to your soul to actually make the most of your time here, and also to all of those who are looking to you too. So toodaloo, Laura J. Namaste. Namaste.